of yesteryear. Now, today I'm going to speak about Rabbi Josiah Pardo, a very famous rabbi of his time, who was a Dutch Chacham. He was a rabbi in the Netherlands, respectively, and we actually did a special feature only in recent days within regards to the history of the famous Dutch rabbis, let's just say, in of itself. So here we're going back into this part. I believe he was actually a head rabbi in Rotterdam, I think between the years 1648 to 1669. I think he would get approbation, I think, to the Sefer of the Nachlat Shiva, I think from the Amsterdam edition in 1667, and where he's mentioned as chief rabbi of both the Sephardic and Ashkenazic congregations of Amsterdam. Very prominent position over there. So his full title was Rabbi Josiah ben David Pardo. And I think he was born in the year 1626 in Amsterdam. He passed away in Port Royal in the year 1684 on August 27th. I think the Hilula would be on in mid Elul, I think the 17th of Elul, if I'm not mistaken. He was not just a Dutch rabbi and a Hacham. He served as rabbi also of Willemstad, Curaçao. This is part of the Kingdom of Netherlands, I think, located in the Southern Caribbean Sea, and in Port Royal in Jamaica, respectively. These are very prominent positions. I think Rabbi Josiah Pardo was one of the first rabbis who settled in the New World, let's just say, and he was a pioneer of many Jewish communal and education institutions in the Western Hemisphere. Now, he's a rabbi you would have, many of you that's listening may have heard of him before. Born actually in Amsterdam in the year 1626, he came from great rabbinic auspices. His father's name was Rabbi David ben Yosef Pardo. He himself happened to have been a Dutch rabbi, a Chacham, actually from Salonika originally. He actually also came from Rabbi Joseph Pardo and Rabbanit Reina, especially towards the second half of the 16th century. And he himself, Rabbi David, he went with his father to Amsterdam, where he became the Chacham, or the Beit Yisrael synagogue. Let's just say, very, very prominent position. So that was his father, the Chacham's father that we're speaking about. And his mother's name was Rachel Pardo, from the Sanchez family. Now, Robert Josiah originated from a prominent Sephardic rabbinical family of Venice, Amsterdam, and Saloniki, as we said before. Now, it's interesting. Robert Josiah's grandfather was someone named Rabbi Joseph Pardo. I think he himself, the latter, he passed away in the year 1619. He was an Italian rabbi and a merchant also. And obviously, he would serve as a rabbi to the Levantine community, and was very much engaged in business. He would emigrate to the Netherlands, and he himself was a Chacham of the Beit Yaakov congregation in Amsterdam. This actually was founded by another famous person, Jacob Tirado, who was one of the founders of the Spanish-Portuguese community of Amsterdam until he passed away. More to say about Joseph Pardo, Rabbi Joseph Pardo. He founded the Hermandad de la Coravanas and the Moha Ha Betulat, obviously the Santa Compañía de Dota Orfas Donzelas, I think, and he was a literal poem writer in of itself, and much can be said with regards to him, his famousness, respectively. Okay, let's go back to Rabbi Josiah, his grandson. He was a disciple and a son-in-law of another famous person, Rabbi Saul Levi Mortera, who was a rabbi also of Amsterdam, was also from Venice, I believe. So we're not sure if he was actually Sephardic or Ashkenazic, but he would become a central figure in the city's community of the exiled Portuguese Jews, writing various different poems, and was very, very famous rabbi. He himself, Rabbi Saul Levi Morteria, was a Talmid of Rabbi Leon of Modena, another one of the great rabbis. He was a scholar in Venice. Various different ancestors that actually migrated to Italy after expulsion of Jews from France. Okay, now Robert Josiah was a teacher of the Yeshiva de los Pintos in Rotterdam, which was, let's say, transferred to Amsterdam in the year 1669. So he would also at that point in time be a prominent rabbi, head rabbi over there. He was a Chacham of the Honendalim Benevolent Society also. He would emigrate to Curaçao, where he became the Chacham, I believe, in the year 1674. He served as a first leader, let's just say, of the congregation of Mikveh Israel in Curaçao for 9 years. This was, I believe. And then he would establish a school and several other institutions of the community. Now, while the first rabbi in America and Western Hemisphere, Rabbi Yitzhak Abu Abdeh Fonseca, yielded between the years 1605 to 1693. Remember, we've spoken about him, the famous Kabbalist, rabbinic scholar, on various occasions before. He was a famous Dutch, Brazil, let's just say, rabbi in himself, who became the rabbi of Penraba in Brazil in 1642. Rabbi Josiah Pardo was apparently the first one who settled outside the Brazil. Now, I think come with the year 1683, Rabbi Josiah deported to Jamaica, which was, let's say, at that point in time, was more unusual decision, since Curaçao Jewish community was economically better off at that time. Now, possibly, I think there was maybe a robust debate with influential leaders, or as we say, the Parnasim or the Mikveh Yisrael community, was a reason for his departure. And I think come with the 1670s, Port Royal had a reputation of a center of piracy. The synagogue on the Jewess Street, let's just say, of Port Royal was built around the time period of 1677. Now, Rabbi Josiah Pardo's late fate and his date of death were unknown until his gravestone was identified. I think it was identified as late as 2008 at the historical Jewish community of Port Royal in Hunts Bay. Now, the gravestone has an image of the skull and crossbones, which, contrary to the popular perception, was not a pirate symbol, but a symbol of death when it appeared on the gravestones. Now, I'm quoting this from Wikipedia over here. I think the actual source of that actually comes from an article that was from 2009 from Nos Ornovsky, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, so just to chronicle that over. I think that would be quite important. Okay, so let's continue. The Epath calls him in Judeo-Portuguese, famoso H.H. Moreno, Arab, Ra-Ar Yosia David Ab Bedin. That's KK. I'll go on further. Ab Bedin means most likely he was head of Jewish court over there, and a very prominent position, let's just say. Now, one of his sons, I think, Rabbi Shaul Pardo, who happened to be his son, he passed away in the year 1702, would move to New York, where he was the first chazan, cantor, of the New York Jewish congregation She'erit Yisrael. Now, this is a synagogue we've spoken about on various occasions before. We mentioned about the congregation She'erit Yisrael was often called the Spanish and Portuguese synagogue, which I believe is currently situated in Central Park West, on Upper West Side of Manhattan, respectively. Later on, his son, Rabbi Shaul Pardo, would return to Curaçao to join his aunt. Rachel Doval was, I think, either Josiah's sister-in-law or half-sister from the first marriage of his father, it's reported over. So you can see we're going into the Netherlands territory. There was many famous rabbis there of his point in time. We spoke about various of the, let's just say, the chief rabbis that there happened to have been of yesteryear in Rotterdam. I think Josiah Pardo is listed here as the first chief rabbi of Amsterdam, and then I think he'd be followed up, or one century time by Rabbi Yehuda Le'ob ben Rabbi Shlomo. I'm not too sure much information. I think he was born in Wilna. I think Rabbi Judah Salomon in 1682 would take his place. In fact, Rabbi Judah Le'ob ben Abraham Asher Anshel, between the year 1700 to 1708, would become the rabbi. I think also he himself was born in Hamburg. Then afterwards it was followed by Rabbi Solomon Ezekiel. He would have 10-year tenure between 1725 to 1735. Right, Judah Ezekiel will follow him till 1755. Obviously a window of time fine. Then Rabbi Abram Ezekiel between 1755 to 1779. Now I'm not sure if they were all directly related or not. I'd assume they were, but correct me if I'm wrong. And that would later on eventually be followed up by Are Leib Breslau, who would become the late one. So very interesting. We're just looking over some real Dutch Netherlands history over here within regards to the rabbinic structure. And you can actually see, I'm looking at a picture of his gravestone at the moment. I think he's in the old Sephardic cemetery in the Paramaribo. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's just a picture over here of the gravestone. I think the site in the building was the old Sephardic cemetery of Paramaribo, Suriname, Neve Shalom Synagogue Complex. I think it's very much connected to, which we also have to point out. So that's very, very interesting. And we're learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. We are community. We are learning about great rabbis of yesteryear. We're trying to mostly look inside the Sephardic community, the Ottoman countries, who were the great rabbis over there, North African countries, let's just say also the Asian territories also. I think it's very, very important we learn about it and gain more knowledge, information. Not much is known about Sephardic Jewry, unfortunately, by the masses, but we are trying to change it over here. Also, friends, if you feel anyone is interested in watching any of these videos, please share these videos also to other people and help this community grow more and more. We're nearing a staggering 7,000 subscribers, which I don't think any of us would have predicted at any stage in time, which is a phenomenal achievement. If anyone is interested in watching these videos before, please share it. And if you yourself haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and let me know. And if you descend from a great rabbi and we haven't spoken about them yet, please let me know. We're here it'll be great to find out more information and know more and educate and learn and get inspired. So wishing you well on that note. Take care and thanks for watching. Thank you.